All right, let's get started.
Alrighty. Yep, it is 1 o'clock. So thank you everybody for joining. My name is Johnny Freeman. I'm Positron's Customer Outreach Manager and joined by our wonderful CEO, Adam Fritz. And thanks for joining. Today, we will be walking you through Positron Studio's script preparation tools, which are designed to streamline and simplify your pre-production stage when working on a scripted audio project. And these tools are really powerful. They can save you a lot of time. And the goal of today is we'll be taking our time with each tool, and I'll be walking you through all of the advanced features and techniques that exist. A lot of these tools can be minor but save you a lot of time. So we'll be highlighting all of those for you and hopefully leveling up your positron knowledge and workflow. So with that, we'll get started. A little bit more specifically, what we're going to cover today. I'll start off with a script prep overview. So we'll be covering the three main script preparation tools, which are the pronunciation guide, the character voices guide, and the export marked script feature. Like I said, taking our time with each one of those tools, that'll probably be the bulk of the webinar, showing you everything that you can do with those. Then next, I'll show you how using our prep tools can actually influence and speed up your proofing stage as well. So once you get to the post-production stage, if you've used our prep tools, you can use the tools Script Sync and our Scan Occurrences tool, which can really help you out in the post-production phase as well. And then lastly, how to store all of this hard-earned research that you've worked for to use in future projects and make sure that you never lose a reference. And yeah, hopefully you have these research entries keep paying you dividends in future projects.
And
Uh,
just a reminder, please put your questions in the Q&A. We will be monitoring the chat as well, but it's just much harder to do the chat than it is the Q&A for questions. Thank
yep,
you.
absolutely. We do have a Q&A section at the end, but really, as soon as they come into your mind, please pop them in the Q&A box. We love to answer them live, and it looks like we already have one from Barbara, so that's perfect in the Q&A box. So we'll start with that. Barbara says, you may cover this, but can the prep tool analyze two scripts, same project, for differences? Sometimes we receive a second script and it's good to see quickly what the differences are. We weren't planning on covering that because that actually isn't available in Positron, but it is available in either Microsoft Word or Adobe Acrobat. There is a compare feature in there, which I would recommend to compare your different scripts. And if you do have a question on that, Barbara, I can show you that after if you want to get in touch. You are muted, Adam.
We should probably add a support article for that kind of thing as well.
It's a good
That's
idea. That's a great idea. Thanks, Barbara.
yeah.
And another one from
Suggestion,
Dan.
provide an
Oh,
easy
go ahead.
way to move a pronunciation item to the character list. This is actually something that's in the plans, and it may
Dan,
actually be
nope,
done.
that is live, Dan, and I
Okay.
believe that was your request. So I'm happy to, I'll show you that momentarily, actually, as soon as we get into it. So thanks for that suggestion. It is live. Okay. Well, glad to see the questions rolling in already. Keep them coming if you have them. But the first tool we'll be covering today is the pronunciation guide. And I'm actually going to pull up Positron and we'll get right into it. So here is Positron. Okay, so you will need to create a project. Not going to cover that in too much detail on this webinar, but the very first thing you'll need to do to use any of our tools is click this Create New Project button from your homepage and upload your PDF, EPUB, text, or Word document here and give it a title. If you do have questions on these settings, it is important to set up your project correctly, but we covered this in a previous webinar in our proofing masterclass, so take a look at that if you have any questions. The main thing is get your script into Positron and create a project here. So coming to the pronunciation guide, I'll cover the general workflow first, which is to utilize our suggestions list. And what this tool is doing is when you upload your script, when it processes it, it takes a look at every single word in the manuscript you uploaded. And based on our algorithm, it's going to pull a list of suggestions for you. So if I hit open suggestions here, you'll see a list of words. And I'll quickly explain how this list is generated. Positron's looking for a few different things. First, it's looking for capitalized rare words. So anything capitalized that is a unique or uncommon word is going to get pulled onto the list here. And that's targeting names of people, cities, sci-fi planets, anything like that. Those are all going to get pulled in to this list. Secondly, it's going to look for complex words, so just general standard words that are complicated. There's two ways we find those. We actually had narrators go through a giant list of words, I think 150,000 words, and rate them simple or complex. So any of those complex ones will get pulled onto this list. And we also use an algorithm to inspect the individual letters in the word based on 3-letter combinations. There are some combinations of letters that are linguists have decided are more complex than others to pronounce. So we use that data to pull in complex words here as well. And then foreign words. So any words that are not in the primary language of your book. So if your book is in English, Spanish words, French words, those will get pulled in. If your book is in Spanish, then English words would get pulled into the foreign category here. So that's how this list is generated. And the primary workflow, as soon as you're starting a project, you'll upload your script, open the suggestions list, and see what kind of complicated words are going to show up. Now, there's a few things to do from here. If you have a question on a word, if you'd like to find the pronunciation for it, you'll click this Add to Research List button here. We'll see a jump from the suggestions list to our actual research list, and it's pulled a phonetic spelling and a recording
Abortive.
that we can listen to at any time from this box right here. So if I click this here, you'll see our integrated dictionaries. These are all our available dictionaries. This is the first place that Posotron's going to check for a pronunciation. So I have Merriam-Webster selected. When I add a word, it's going to check for a pronunciation in Merriam-Webster. If I want to take a look at all of the other dictionaries, one really handy button is this cloud button here to get alternative pronunciations. If I click this, you'll see Posotron will show you everything that it found across all of our integrated dictionaries here. And I can listen to each entry.
Abortive. Abortive.
Abortive.
Have many different examples. And if I prefer one over the other, let's say I need this British pronunciation of this word, I'll click that plus button and it will change the entry here.
Just one thing there. Barbara had a comment. I recently had a script with the word Lagoyen, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, green. I couldn't find it anywhere. I had to wait for the pub to offer pickups. If you're doing it in Posotron, that's a great way where you can actually assign that word to someone and share the project with them, which I'm sure Johnny will show. But it's meant as a collaborative tool where if you don't know, you actually have a way to ask someone what the correct pronunciation is.
Iagoian. Wow, it's an interesting word.
Oh, like Iago. I got you. Iago from Shakespeare. Okay, I get it. That was an I. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, just to quickly show you what Adam's talking about there is we'll get to the collaboration section a little bit later, but you can invite anyone to a Posotron project completely free of charge because it's meant to be a collaborative tool with this blue share button right here. And as soon as you invite them, this little person icon allows you to actually assign. I don't have anyone shared on this project yet. Oh, actually, I guess I do. I have Adam right here. So I could assign Adam to this word. And now there's a little A there. We know Adam is going to handle the pronunciation of this word. So that is what Adam was talking about there. And a question from Suzanne. If you have a script looking for Canadian pronunciations for common words like sorry, I had to do that. Is there any preset or something we can do on the front end?
And as a Canadian, I can tell you, I did make sure that this was possible. Johnny can show you using Forvo.
Yep. So that is where you'd want to change your designated dictionary. So if you're looking for a particular or accented word, you'll want to use Forvo. And you can actually specify in Forvo what language you're looking for. So I can choose English. And I can actually choose an accent. So I can look for Canadian pronunciations or Australian or British. And what this will do is it'll find in Forvo, based off of where that audio was uploaded to Forvo from, it will grab a pronunciation from the region that is specified by the accent or dialect you choose here.
And that's based on because Forvo is like the Wikipedia of pronunciations, it is crowdsourced. That is based on the location from which the pronunciation was uploaded.
Hmm.
So as always with anything on the internet, when it is crowdsourced, take it with a grain of salt. But Forvo is the best option for there.
Thanks for the question. Okay. So a couple things on the suggestions list that are potentially advanced you might not know about. The first one is this sensitivity slider here. So this is a really helpful tool to tailor the suggestions list to your vocabulary or for what you're looking for. So if I click this, you'll see there's a couple of slide bars for foreign and complex. So these are the two categories. And you can tell Positron kind of usually it's on default, so you'll see them right in the middle. But if you'd like, you can tell Positron to show you more complex words or more foreign words. And this will kind of lower the threshold for what Positron thinks is complex or foreign. So we'll see I have 19 complex words on the list. I have 0 foreign words on the list. If I move these all the way to more and I hit save, you'll see a couple more words have shown up here. And under foreign, it's pulled in some words. And so because I put it all the way to more, it's less accurate, but it will pull more words in here. And now if I move this, I've got foreign here. If I move this down to fewer, this means you have to be absolutely certain this is a foreign word before putting it on the list. You can see it removed all of those. And for complex, same thing. If I have 19 here, if I move this down to, let's move it a little lower. All right, now it's lowered that list to 1. So it's only going to show you really complex or uncommon words. And you can change this based on your preference here. I like to have it on more to see as many words as possible. On complex, so now I've got a bunch of words here that I can start adding to my research list. And this brings me to the second advanced tip with the suggestions list. This little button up here is very easy to miss, but this shows you our hotkeys. And Dan, you'll see there is a new addition, add to character voices guide with the letter C on your keyboard. So excited to show you that since you requested it. But there's hotkeys for a lot of pretty much anything you'd like to do in the suggestions list. These will target the top item. So the very next one on the list here, if I press R on my keyboard, you'll see it will add a word to my research list. I will ignore it. And let's say Bertillon or Monsieur Bertillon. Let's say this is a character in my book. And since the pronunciation guide is looking for capitalized rare words, it might pull your character names onto this list. Now you can easily, either with this 3-dot menu, add it to the character voices guide. So if I do that, you'll see it's actually added it. If I go to my character list here, we'll see he is now added to the character list. Or I can press C on my keyboard and it will do the same thing. A couple other hotkeys that are helpful: undo last action, and this one is really important, ignore word in all projects. So when you ignore a word, it removes it from the list. If you click this 3-dot menu, you'll see it says ignore word in all projects. And this is all projects that exist right now and any project in the future. So this allows you to get, I think it's often underutilized, because if Positron is suggesting words that you never are going to need to research, you might as well ignore it in all projects. This means it's never going to suggest it to you in the future. So your future suggestions lists are going to be more and more tailored to your vocabulary. Now, normally you'd have to click this 3-dot menu and then click that, and it'll ignore it for everything. Now you can just press T on the keyboard and it'll add it to that ignored list. So just these hotkeys can help you speed through this suggestions list. Just using R and I allows me to quickly jump through these words.
Question for you: make a way to tag characters as part of a series. So actually, we'll get into this in the character guide portion. So I take it back. Good question by an anonymous attendee, but we'll cover that when we get into the character guide.
Absolutely. Looks like we got another question from Dean. In the setup of the project, the options for the manuscript processing, the options are grayed out and selected. I've had a couple where I was told that the strike through omissions weren't selected. Okay, so this is in the create. I'll quickly answer this question for you, Dean. So when you're creating a project here, Dean's talking about these manuscript processing options. So when you have turned on PDF annotations handling, all of these are on by default. So you can't turn off one aspect of it. It's kind of all or nothing. So don't worry if they're grayed out. I believe you are in this UI here, the old UI, and if we go to manuscript processing options and we turn this on, they're all grayed out. Don't worry, these are all on. So you didn't do anything wrong there. They're just always on if you turn on PDF annotations handling. Maybe not helpful for everyone on the call, so hopefully I didn't confuse anyone, but that's a specific question. Hopefully that helped you, Dean. Okay, good. So we've gone through the suggestions list. Now let me pull up my slide and make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. So in researching, I showed you the cloud button here. So a couple of tips for when you're researching words. You'll see most of these words Pozotron found easily in the dictionary, but there are words that are not going to be available in Merriam-Webster or Oxford, especially if it's a made-up word, or the word Barbara was mentioning earlier. You're going to get wacky words in your script.
You're not going to try and pronounce Barbara's word, Tony?
Nope, not even going to try.
You've butchered Bertillon enough. You're done for the day.
This tool was definitely designed for people like me who read and pronounce things very differently. But just as an example, in one of my favorite books, the main character's name is this. It's spelled quote off, but it's said quoth. And if I add this to the list, we'll see this comes back with no phonetics. By the way, you can add any word you want using this add custom word field here. So if it's not found in one of our dictionaries, the first thing I'd recommend is always check this cloud button here. This is going to tell you, oh, it looks like it was found in Forvo. So a word I did not expect to show up was actually found in Forvo. Let's take a listen.
Quoth.
So pretty good. Some might argue that's the correct pronunciation for the character, so I could use that. Or if I want to double check it even further, I would use these links on the right-hand side. Now, these are additional resources for you to research words. We have our regular dictionaries along with Cambridge, OneLook, Youglish, and How'd You Say? All very good resources. So I'm going to click Youglish here, and this will search YouTube for a video where someone's saying this word, so I can take a listen to this video.
School and be the best at magic, and that's like it. I think Quoth actually has a
All right, so that's pretty good. He says quoth there. Can double confirm it.
Story.
Oh, well, there's a lot of videos from this guy. He must like the book that I like as well. So that will give me the pronunciation of the word, and then I can come back to Pozotron. And other button that I'll need to explain is the edit word phonetics here. This blue microphone button allows you to record a pronunciation or upload a clip of a pronunciation. So if you get a clip from your author or your publisher or someone, you can actually upload it straight to this entry in Pozotron, or I can record it, quoth, quoth. And I can put in a phonetic spelling that'll work for me. I would do something like that. And I can link to Youglish as well. I can put the link to that video there so that if I do want to reference it, I have a link here that'll bring me right to the Youglish page. All right, I believe
Question from
go ahead.
anonymous attendee. Make a way to tag characters as part of a series so I can import only characters that aren't relevant. You didn't cover that already, did you, John?
No, I figured we'd leave it for the character guide. So
okay, there we go.
Question from Dean. Can you upload that YouTube clip in the audio sample? There's currently not. So unless you download it from YouTube somehow, which I don't think there is.
You can. There's probably definitely not Google approved ways to snip audio out of I know some people will literally just play it, point their record it and play it and point their microphone at the speaker. That's one way. Or the other way is you just listen to it and then record it directly, immediately, the exact same way, but then you can add it. So no, you can't add an actual video link there. And we've tried to find ways that don't violate the YouTube terms of service to pull the audio, but there's not really any way to do it that are acceptable to our friends at Google. So
Yeah, the general workflow is just to listen to it, then repeat it as best you can. That'd be interesting. Okay, so the last couple of things on here, one thing I wanted to mention is project sharing. So once you have a word in a project, like amiable or antenna, if I upload this, if I add another word, or if I add a word to this project that exists in one of my other Pozotron projects, it'll actually use this data here. So if my recording for Quoth here, let's say I upload another book that also has the word Quoth in it. If I add it to the pronunciation guide, it's going to automatically remember this. So it's one thing to keep in mind. Anything in your projects are available to you across any project. It's not available to everybody else, but for you, these words are reusable in every project. So it's something to keep in mind. Okay, let me move this over here. Hopefully, this has been helpful so far. We are going to be taking our time, so there's a few more things to go over in the pronunciation guide, and then we'll move on to the character guide. First thing is this button here. It's a very useful button in the import-export window. So most people use the suggestions list first. They clear that out entirely. And then if you do your own read through the book, there might be additional words that you want to research. You can add any of those in here manually. You can also import entire lists of words. So I know some narrators, they do their full read through. And while they do that, they just keep a list of words that they come across. And then when they're ready to start researching, they'll import the whole list at once. And this is a really useful window here. You can upload, I believe, up to 200 words at a time. So I'm just going to think of some random words here and put them one word per line. If you put multiple words on one line, it will think that's one entry. So you could do for a full name, like that. That would work. That'll make it one entry. So I'll hit save here. Imported 4 words. If we scroll down here, we'll see it's going to process these. It's going to look for them in your book to give you the count and the page number and all that. And question from Barbara, yes, there is another way to import, which is straight from Excel. So an Excel sheet, you can also import it into Pozotron. You will need to use our formatted Excel sheet. So if you want to use that, click here. That will download an Excel sheet. It'll actually export your current list of words to Excel. So this is a nice handy report. But you can also add words to this column here and then re-import this to Pozotron, and it will populate them in here. Let me exit out of that. Lastly, sometimes you'll get a lot of audio recordings from your author. If you're working with an author and they're helping you out with their made-up language and pronouncing a bunch of words for you, you can import all of those MP3s or WAV files to Pozotron directly. All you'll want to do is make sure that the file, let's say there's one for Quoth, make sure that the file itself is named quoth.mp3. And when you drag them in here, it'll upload all of those audio clips to these different words here. So that prevents you from needing to go into one word at a time, clicking upload, and then putting that clip in there. And the useful thing about, go ahead, Adam.
Question from Dean, are multiple word phrases supported names? Best way to list them all separately, first, last, and full. So good question. So yes, multiple word phrases are supported. There's a couple ways to do it. Generally, the best way is to list the full name and then use the alias feature in the character guide for linking the two together, because Sherlock Holmes sometimes is referred to as Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock, or Holmes. So if you use the alias feature to combine them, then it'll flag all 3 of those entries the same way.
Yep, absolutely. And that's only in the character tab, but in the pronunciation guide, really you could have just separate entries for each one of those and it would kind of work the same. That's all I'm going to cover on the import export, right? Or actually, yeah, we're going to get to the collaboration soon. So we'll save the rest for a little bit later. Looks like we have another question, actually.
Another question, when uploading audio pronunciation from the author, do they need to be in separate files for each word, or can Pozotron parse one file of the author pronouncing many words? It unfortunately needs to be a single word, a single file per word, and there's a couple reasons for that. We've looked in, eventually we'd like to get into the point where you could just upload a 10-minute audio file and it would snip it in, but For in the example of Quoth, if Positron doesn't match it correctly, it's just going to cause more issues, or if there's an issue in the file or something like that. So it does need to be a separate file for each word named exactly matching the word.
Exactly. It's a good question, Michael. Thank you for that. Okay, getting close to the end of the pronunciation guide. A couple more things that are often overlooked that are very, very helpful are these fields right here on the right-hand side. So the easiest one, or one quick one I want to show you, is this hide words with no instances. So we can see I've added a whole bunch of, random words that aren't in my book. So if I click this, we'll see it makes them disappear from my list. So they're not going to bother me. There might be many reasons why you have words with zero count. If you imported a whole list of words from the first book in the series, and this is the second book in the series, you might have words with no instances. So that allows you to easily hide them and make sure you're seeing the relevant words on your list. Now, the other fields up here, one allows you to sort your list and one allows you to filter your list. So the sort by, I have it set to alphabetically, which you can see it's set that way. So a lot of options in here. So feel free to play around with these and find what works for you. I know a lot of people like to use the first occurrence once they get their list all figured out. If you switch this to first occurrence, it's going to take the page number and align these in the way you're going to come across them in the book. So page 3, page 7, page 14. So as you go through your narration, you can kind of have this follow the same sequence. That's useful. The word category, you can filter by number of occurrences. So the words that appear the most in the book will show up first. Excuse me. Completed and incomplete. So complete allows you to see words that have both a phonetic spelling and a recording. So the research for them has been completed. Incomplete will show you any words, which I don't have any on the list now. Let's open that up. Any words that don't have a recording or a phonetic spelling in there, alphabetically, last edited, and then number of comments as well. If you have heavy collaboration, you can filter your list by the comments there. And then the filter is very helpful. This actually will remove things from your list that don't match the filter. So for collaboration, really helpful. You'll see assigned to me here. So if I were logged in as Adam and I filtered this list to assign to me, actually, I'll assign a word to myself really quickly. Right there. And I filter this list to assign to me. It's going to show me only those words that have been assigned to my account. It's really helpful. If you got a big list and your author needs to come in and help you record things, you can assign them to just the words they need to help you with, and then they can easily filter out all the other words and limit the amount of noise going on in here. Also filter it by only incomplete, only empty. So empty means there are neither a phonetic spelling or recording, so it's completely empty. Incomplete is one or the other. And then complete is, let's see here, do I have any empty? Oh, well, that's fine. I have it hiding my words. So really useful filters. And the very last thing is this page number here. So if you I think you're
For
muted.
the feature perspective, I was muted. My click didn't count on the audio for some reason. We had a request recently where if you actually click on the green, orange, yellow, and red icons, those would actually filter those as well. So that is coming. Just minor thing, but something that was requested recently.
Yeah, that'll come soon. So if you want to see your incomplete words soon, you'll just click that red one and it'll just filter the list to show you that one. Fantastic. Okay, I think that's everything for the pronunciation guide. Let's see if I forgot anything. So we've covered the suggestions list, all the little tricks there with actually researching words. Now we'll get to collaboration. So there's a couple of collaboration features that are really helpful. First, I'll just cover how to collaborate. So that's using the blue share button up here. This allows you to invite anyone you'd like to the project. It's completely free of charge to add them, to add as many people as you want to a project. Just type their email address in here, give them a role. Now the roles, there's lots of different roles, and the reason for this is really if you want to limit what they're able to do in your project. If you don't want them to be able to delete things or make any changes, that's when you would select viewer. The author permission here is a special permission set where it gives them access to only your prep tools. So this means you can invite your author, they can help you prepare with the pronunciations and check out the characters, but they won't be able to listen to all the audio files you upload to the proofing side, because those files aren't really ready for the author yet. You want to proof them and edit them and all that. So that's what that permission set is for. So if you do have questions on that, this click here button will show you the different levels of access each role gives you. If you don't really mind what they get into, you can just make them a director and they'll have access to everything. But beware, they can upload audio and delete stuff and all of that. So it's your call. We tried to add as many roles so you can get as granular as you want with that. You can also set an expiration. So you say give them access for a particular amount of time. You can say you have access for a week, and then they will no longer have access. Yes, Barbara. So this click here button right here, this will open up our kind of sheet here showing you exactly what each role is able to do in Pozotron. So if you have any questions on what each role does, you can check that out and see what they're able to do.
Generally, if you have questions as well on any of these pages, the little question mark icon up here at the top will take you to a page in our support page that is not just going to the main support.positron.com. It'll take you to a curated, actually answer questions about the specific dialog box or window or whatever that you have open at the time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so that's how you share. So once you have someone share to your project, they'll be able to come in and access everything. At that point, you're able to assign them particular entries. You're also able to communicate with them via comments here. So you can leave any comment you want, something like that. I can leave a comment so Adam knows that I've requested his help here. He can see this little icon here and you can discuss each word. So those are really helpful. The last thing are the export options. If you don't want to give them access to your project, under import export, you can export a packet which will download individual MP3s for each of the words on your pronunciation list. You can export to Excel, which includes all of this information and links to the audio recordings. You can share an online packet, which is a read-only version of your pronunciation guide. So they're able to access this. This is really nice. They're able to sort it. They're able to search. They're able to listen to everything. So lots of different ways to collaborate depending on how much access you want to give them. Anything to add, Adam? I'm going to take a sip of coffee.
Question from Glenn. Once you have completed research, is there a way to import phonetic and recorded audio directly into the script at the word location? Not currently to embed the audio. However, we weren't going to do this, but I will give a quick demo, a quick sneak peek at the end of our Posoprompter, which is a teleprompter we're working on that'll allow you to display your script and read off of it with all of your research embedded in, not only just the exported comments, but everything, the audio, everything. So I will show that at the end, Glenn.
Well, you got roped into it, so. Okay, we are going to move on. I realized I spent a lot of time on the pronunciation guide, but there are a lot of things and a lot of those features in the pronunciation guide, like the sorting, the filters, the import options, and all of that, they also apply to the character guide. So you'll see a lot of the same options up here. That's what they all do. But I will explain what the character guide does. So this tool, similar to the pronunciation guide, is going to scan your book, but this time looking for all of the characters that are in your book. And now this is primarily used when you are going to need to develop character voices. So primarily used in fiction where there will be dialogue by a particular character. And in that case, you can hit this open suggestions button. We'll see another suggestions list. Same hotkeys exist on all of these. So like I said, everything that we went over there also applies to the character guide. But the point of this tool is to give you a list of characters. It's going to give you the count. It's going to tell you the page number that they occur on. And it's really meant to help you research these characters. So I'm going to add Sherlock here because I know he is a character in my book. I'm also going to remove, I can't say his name, and Adam made fun of me, so I won't say it anymore.
Bertillon.
Bertillon. Okay, thank you. We'll practice. So if I add Sherlock here, what this is going to do is give me an area to enter a photo for a character reference. We added that because someone had a character that all they needed to know about their tone and inflection was Matthew McConaughey. So they uploaded a picture of Matthew McConaughey here to describe the character, but you can upload a photo. This is where you enter their aliases, so the different ways this character will be referred to or referred by. Character description, brilliant detective, rude, tall with dark hair, all the details about this character. You can enter the voice notes. And I know, I'm just entering this based off of what I know about Sherlock. But let's say I didn't know anything about this character. It's a really handy tool here if you click this count button, we'll actually see every occurrence of this character throughout the entire book. It'll give you each sentence where they're mentioned, tell you the page number of where they're brought up. And from here, I can get a snapshot of, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, who is usually very late in the mornings. Let's say that's a detail about Sherlock that I want to remember. I'm just going to copy this, come back here, and add that. That's a description of the character. Or if his voice is described in a certain way, I can then copy and paste that into the voice descriptions. He's got a London accent. So using this count here, this is a really helpful way to research the character. And once you have these notes of who he is and what they sound like, you can go ahead and click this purple microphone button here to record as many voice samples as you want. They can be, I think, 60 seconds long, so you can record as many samples as you want in here. Upload clips that you're using for inspiration, or if you already have a recording, you can upload it there. And this way you have your character saved that you can refer back to at any point. It looks like we do have a couple of questions. Oh, actually, we haven't cleared this out, so that one's already answered. Oh, we have a bunch. Want to take them,
In
Adam?
the character voices guide, when editing description and voice notes, I'd love a keyboard shortcut for save changes. It should be Shift Enter. Should be. Yeah, it should be Shift Enter.
Yep, Shift Enter.
There you go, Michael James Bell.
Should probably
Shift
add that
Enter.
to this right here.
Agreed, yes. I have a current project where it says there are over 70 references in the manuscript, where only a few are visible when you click the magnifying glass. Is that just a glitch?
Oh, so you're opening up the dialogue detector, which is in beta. So this tool is trying to... Am I frozen? Oh, sorry, we were just very still. So this is trying to find the dialogue for the character. So go ahead and click count. That will show you all the occurrences of the character. And yeah, so you want to make sure you click count, not the magnifying glass there.
Yeah. I have a question about export functionality. Should we cover that later? That's PDF stuff, which we're going to cover in a minute, right, Johnny?
Yeah, the pronunciation pop-up in iAnnotate is a bit glitchy. Not really sure if we can help with that. I don't know iAnnotate that well. So
yeah, Dean, if you want to send us an email to help@pozotron.com, we don't actually, obviously we can't support iAnnotate, but I can almost guarantee that there are ways we can help you with that. So send us an email with the details, please.
Absolutely. And there was a question previously, actually, still not the right time for that. So I'll show you that in a moment. So let's pull this up and see everything that I need to remember. Okay, good. So I'm going to add a alias for Sherlock, so that will be Holmes as well. So when you add a alias, you'll see it actually creates a whole new entry here. And then we can see Holmes has been added as a alias to Sherlock. When this happens, one thing that's easy to overlook is actually just go ahead and remove this from the list, because now these have been combined. And I'll show you later in the export mark script feature, this will make it work as intended. So you can add all your aliases there. And the last couple of things I'll show you with the character guide are our beta tools, which are the character descriptions tool and the dialogue detector. But you'll see on the suggestions list, some of these have AI tags. And what this means is Pozotron is attempting to find descriptions of this character for you based off of text in the book. So Gatsby and Valerie and Daisy, if I add them to my character guide, we will see they come through pre-loaded with descriptions. So right now in the descriptions, it's able to identify the Gatsby is a male, and he's described as having an urgent, matter-of-fact, distant voice or tone throughout the book. So it's grabbing these details from actual mentions of the character here. So it is going to, if you see it come through with pre-written descriptions in there, you don't have amnesia. It actually added those for you. You did not have this. So wanted to explain what that is. And also there's a very handy little filter here to see if Pozotron did find any details about the characters. You can filter this list to only show you AI generated characters where it has identified, those descriptions. Those are the filters that are available in the character guide. And the dialogue detector, I don't know if I have a good example of this. Let's attempt on Valerie. Okay, so it's trying to grab some dialogue. This tool is in beta. Eventually, I'll just tell you what it's intended to do. It's going to show you here the lines of dialogue that a character has throughout the whole book, also with a description of the tone of that sentence. So we can kind of see here this sentence is urgent, matter of fact, distant, detached, and apologetic, nervous. These tools are in beta, and we're still working on improving the dialogue detector to include all of it. It's a tricky subject because people are now changing books to be more audiobook friendly and not actually saying Sherlock said and Gatsby said after every line of dialogue. So we are still working on that.
A lot fewer attributions in some forms of writing. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are called attributions.
Thank you. Attributions. Great. Okay. Let's see. I think that's it on the character guide. So the very next last bit of prep research that I wanted to show you here is under the import export button is this transfer research button. So this is a really easy way, and I'll show you later on using the custom dictionaries, but answering a question from anonymous attendee about characters that are a part of a series. Once you've done your research, let's say this is book 1 of a series, I can grab all of the research in this project and transfer it to any other project in my account. And what's really helpful about this is any words that reappear in the second book or any characters that reappear, if I hit transfer, it'll put everything in there. And then we have this hide button here to hide all the characters and words with no instances. So you'll be able to see at a glance what characters and words reappear in the next book. And this is how you can use your prep again and again to really save you exponential time project to project. Okay, looking at the time, we have gone through everything here, so I'm going to quickly show you the export marked script feature. You'll see that button in your character guide and pronunciation guide. There's a button here to export a marked script. So this is a really handy way to head start your markup. If you do mark up your script, if you do highlights and add notes, what Pozotron will do is, I'll just show you the example here because that's faster. You'll see it'll export a copy of your script with highlights and comments embedded into it automatically. Now any word on your pronunciation guide will be highlighted in yellow, like this word here. Any character will be blue. And if it exists in your pronunciation guide and your character guide, it will be highlighted in green. And the way this works is, when you hover over or click on the word, you'll see a pop-up here with the voice descriptions or the character description, the voice description, and links to the recordings you have. PDF readers don't embed audio natively, so we do put the links here in the comment that you can double click and listen to the recording there for the voice samples or pronunciations of all of your words there. Thanks, Barbara. Yeah, I'm glad it works for you. And there is customization here. You can tell it what you want to include in the comments. So you can include Oh, go ahead.
Just a quick question from Dean. Generally, for anything PDF related, we suggest Adobe Acrobat. That is the best, and it also gives you the most options that, as far as we've seen, to control how the pop-ups in the comments are appearing, which you can find if you go into settings and then comments. You can control how the pop-ups show up in Adobe Acrobat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this screenshot is from Adobe Acrobat. That's where I have this open. I do know that it does work in iAnnotate, but not sure about customizations there since we're familiar with Adobe. But coming back to this, you can tell Pozotron what to include if you want it to include aliases, the audio links. If you don't care about the links, so you just want the descriptions, you can turn those off. You can do only the first occurrence or all occurrences, so you have some customization options there. and that should give you a head start. I know a lot of narrators export that and then they add their own notes and more, more markup on top of that to do dialogue and everything like that, but that can give you a head start. Okay, so that's it for the prep tools. Those are the main prep tools. Now I'm going to show you how to use your prep while you're proofing. So our script sync functionality basically communicates between the proofing tool and the prep tools, allowing you to confirm pronunciations that Pozotron can't confirm for you, ensure character voice consistency, and it lets you update characters automatically. So it's really helpful. Answer your question? Absolutely. The prep tools. So his question was, can you use the prep tools without using the proofing tool? Absolutely. These tools are completely independent of each other and they're priced differently. So if you want to just use the prep tools, you're welcome to upload the script, do your prep, and that's it. Or vice versa. You can upload and just use us for proofing if you'd like. I will say our subscriptions are kind of based around the proofing tool though. So if you do have questions of what plan you should be on for, if you're just planning on using us for prep, just reach out to us. We're happy to help you out. So to show you the script sync functionality, I'm going to go into proofing here and let me open up Sherlock Holmes, this chapter here. Script sync exists up in the top left of your proofing page. You'll see there's checkboxes to turn on or off pronunciations and characters. What this allows you to do is listen to, you're listening to back to this chapter.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, who was usually...
So I can listen to that, and I can also confirm the pronunciation of Sherlock. So again, if this is a quoth situation where it's a weird name, Pozotron might not know if you said it, correctly in the proofing tool because it's such a unique pronunciation. You could listen to your pronunciation of the word right here. And then also, as you get to a line of dialogue,
Well, Watson, what do you make of it?
you could then click Sherlock, and if you had a recorded voice sample, listen to that here and confirm the line you just listened to matches the voice you saved to the character guide. Now, I didn't record a line for Sherlock, but let's say I still want to make sure throughout the rest of the book the voice was used consistently. What I'm going to do is actually grab this line that Sherlock just said. I'm going to press this purple, sorry, that's not purple, that's orange, a microphone button. Go to characters and add that to Sherlock. And what Pozotron just did is it just took a clip, this sentence here, and added it to my character. So now if I look here, you'll see there's actually a play button here.
Well, Watson, what do you make of it?
So instantly just cut that clip up, saved it to the character. So now as I continue through the project, this is another line by Holmes. Let's see what it sounds like.
Perfectly sound, said Holmes.
Oh, and I should have turned on aliases so that it would highlight this as well. But now I can listen to that and ensure it's playing the correct
Watson?
voice, which it is. But this is a really powerful tool that kind of provides a two-way lane between your proofing and your prep tools. And I don't have a lot of words. Okay, so we've got some words. Any words on your pronunciation guide will be highlighted in yellow, so I can listen to the word and then click it, make sure it's pronounced correctly. And yeah, so this is how your prep can also influence your proofing and make sure that you're even more accurate, not just while you're recording, but while you're proofing your work as well. Great. And Chuck, glad to hear that. Yeah, give it a try. Let us know how it works for you. Alrighty, so we're getting close to the end. There's only a couple things to show you left. The scan occurrences tool is a part of our prep packages, a part of the script prep package, but it isn't really a prep tool. It allows you to use your prep tools research similar to the script sync tool, but this allows you to actually just search for any word in your audio files. So if I want to make sure a word like quoth is pronounced correctly throughout the entire book, or Sherlock, I can add it to the list here. You'll see all the words from my pronunciation guide are already here, but I can add any word I want, hit scan, and this is going to show me every moment, every single time the word Gatsby is said, and I can actually listen back to each one of these. These are each little clips. It gives me the chapter name, the exact timestamp, where this occurs, so I can listen to that.
Only Gatsby.
So I can make sure all of these are correctly said. If there are any errors with these, I can select all of them, or I can select a particular one that, let's say, it was pronounced incorrectly. And up in the top right here, there's either a button to export DAW markers. So you can import a DAW marker file directly into your session to show you where Gatsby was said throughout the entire session. Or you can just mark it with this annotate button, mark it as a pickup, or just create annotations for it. So now if I hit annotate, we'll see if I come back to my proofing tool, we'll see there's already a couple pickups in the Gatsby file because it's marking those instances as pickups. So another really great tool that is a part of the Prep Tools package. So if you pay for this, you do have access to that automatically. Lastly, the custom dictionary. So from your pronunciation guide or your character guide, you'll see there's a button here, pronunciation dictionary. If we go to characters, it'll say character guide. And what this does, I'm going to go ahead and click the character guide. This brings you into your account where I have saved these different characters. So once you've done your research, if it's in a project, you can transfer it to any other project, and that's fine. But this acts as a central database for all of your characters, and if you want, all of your pronunciation research as well. So I've got all these words on my guide or in my dictionaries. If I go back here, the way you add this, let's say Sherlock, this is a fully completed research character, and I want to save it so that I have access to this in the future. You can press this plus button right here. That'll add it to, I think our heads are in the way there. That'll add it to your character guide. If I come back here and I go to my character guide now, let's refresh it. We'll see Sherlock's been added. So I think this is a great place to store all of your voices, all your different characters you've ever performed, and then you can grab these characters and put them into any project you'd like going forward. But the really important thing is you're not going to lose these characters. They're fully saved to your account, they're fully private, and they're also they're never going away there. So all of your research that you worked hard for, you can save to your account. Now there's a couple of quick ways to do it. Under import export, you'll see at the very bottom, there's two options to transfer all characters to the CG. This is to your account character guide. If I click this, I'll just go ahead and do it. Transfer all. That will put all of these characters into my account dictionary. Same with the pronunciation guide. I can add all of these words to my account. And then from any other project, you'll see the other option is to add all words from the PD. So you can pull your words from the pronunciation dictionary into any project and vice versa. And it's really just a great way to save your research and make it really flexible to be able to use it in any project going forward. You're very welcome, Dan. Thanks, Barbara.
And just to answer, go back in time to answer anonymous attendee's question about make a way to tag characters as part of a series. So when you're importing from your custom dictionaries, that eye icon will actually make sure that you, even though you're importing all of your words, it'll actually only show the words found in your book.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's this button right here to hide characters with no instances. So generally, you would grab all your characters, put them into a project, and then just hide the ones that don't appear in your book.
Exactly.
That's an easy way to go about it.
So that's the first one. The other way is you can actually, and this is more of a custom. So if you want an anonymous attendee, send us an email. We can walk you through this, but you can actually create if you just still want to have a set of characters only for a series, you can actually just use the transfer research button either from series to series, from book to book in the series, or you can have a master holding project for that series where you're going to transfer all of your, Harry Potter, for example, book 1 into the master holding project, then master holding project to book 2, entirely up to you. So we can, if you send us an email, we can run you through those details. But I would just recommend, honestly, using that hide button and the custom character guide.
Yep, absolutely. And it is 2 p.m. We're going to keep going a little bit longer. I don't know, Adam, if you did want to, if we're out of time, you want to bring up the.
We've probably run out of time. Let's
Okay.
move forward. Stay tuned for a webinar very soon, probably in the next month or two, about the Posa prompter, which we will be launching. That I'm very excited for. I think it'll make a really big difference to a lot of people's workflow.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for joining and staying all the way to the end. Hopefully you learned some tips, tricks, some golden nuggets that you can bring back to your workflow. If you do have any questions or if you do need to get in touch with us, you can always reach us using this help button. It's in every project, it's always there. Go ahead and reach out to us this way. This is a great way to get in touch because it does share the project with us as well if you're having a particular issue. If you just want to get in touch for feature requests or feedback or anything like that, feel free to email us at help@pozotron.com. Our articles and tutorials are always available in here as well. We go back to your homepage. There's a help button right here. You can view all of our previous webinars here. You can book a demo, go to our help center, and watch our video tutorials all in here. So that's a very helpful bar there. One thing I also want to call out is this banner right here. So if you want to stay up to date on any Pozotron news, on our upcoming webinars, on anything like that, this banner here has some useful information. So keep an eye on that when you log into Pozotron. I believe you can hide it, maybe not. So I was just going to say make sure it's unhidden, but it doesn't look like you can. So yeah, keep an eye there. And that's it. Thanks so much for your time. You're very welcome, Anne. Dan, happy holidays to you as well. Julia, you're welcome. Thanks everyone for coming. If there's
Bye,
any,
everyone. Happy Halloween.
yeah, happy Halloween. Take care. Thanks, Suzanne. Bye bye.